Whenever she's got a spare minute, there's a good chance Grace Cho will be tapping on the app Hooked. She's reading chat messages that are actually a story.
I was just trying it out for the first time in bed before I slept, and ended up not sleeping for a while because it's just really gripping. And sometimes when you click on the buttons to see the story unravel, when it gets the really exciting part, you also see like a chat bubble with like the 3 dots. So you're like wondering what the person's gonna say next.
You can only read a limited number of quick stories for free before you're forced to wait, unless you pay for instant access, a cliffhanger of a business model. More than 10 billion fictional messages have been read on Hooked, which consistently ranks near the top of the U.S. book app downloads. Co-founder Isha Gupta says Hooked gained popularity with teen females reading romance and horror, but it's now catching on with more working women and men.
So we're able to see when you're in the app, what kinds of stories do you tend to start? Are you mainly sort of interested in clicking on romance or horror or comedy or sci-fi? And when you do click on stories, how much do you read of the actual story? Do you end up finishing it or abandoning it 20% through or 50% through? So to really just better understand how to capture people's attention and get them excited about reading.
Other chat story platforms have also entered the market looking to make money off a trend that faces skepticism.
Children have a lot of problems anyway with attention deficit problems, and I think it's better for them to read a real book.
So you're not having like the imagination engaged as much, you're just reading this dialogue, that's very short.
So do you think it's better than playing video games?
Oh yeah.
Some are also concerned that as chat stories hook more and more young readers, they might be steered away from classic literature and more descriptive narrative works.
I think it's just absurd to think that anything that's creative, anything that's new is going to undermine the classics. I think that the people who are picking up these stories are not, setting aside Dickens in order to read this.
Audrey Greathouse is one of 300 authors writing on Hooked. Getting paid for her stories on the app helped her survive so that she could go on to land a book deal with a publisher for her successful Neverland Wars trilogy. Greathouse says chat stories are opening new doors for writing while also revisiting the past.
So what Hooked really reminds me of is those mid-century radio plays and the idea that you just tune in and you hear the dialogue. And those were incredibly popular and they just disappeared with television. And I think it's neat that we have this chance to almost revive that.
I don't think books are going to die. I think the way we see ourselves is sort of almost like a gateway drug to loving the experience of reading and writing.
The app also has a feature that allows anyone to collaborate with others, which looks a lot like an SMS conversation, or perhaps the next great story waiting to be sent. Mark New, CGTN, San Francisco.